The United States said today it is reprehensible that a Russian ship is unloading a cargo of arms in Syria in support of the dictatorship there. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton warned the Russians that they must help remove the dictator Bashar al-Assad, or they will be responsible for the start of a civil war. It was 15 months ago that a popular revolt rose up against Assad. And there was fighting again today. Assad's army fired shells into several cities. Last week in the rebel town of Houla, more than 100 people, mostly women and children, were killed by militias supporting the dictatorship. The Assad government insisted today that it had nothing to do with it. Alex Thomson is a correspondent with Britain's Channel 4 News. He's joining us from the Syrian capital, Damascus. Alex, you were in Houla, where the massacre took place. I wonder what the witnesses there told you.
Well, quite genuinely, Scott, in 25 years of reporting, I've scarcely ever been in a situation where people are so desperate to tell their stories to the outside world. Let me just give you a few very brief examples. A 15-year-old girl, we're taken into her bedroom. Her t-shirt is pulled up to expose her back with a large exit wound from a bullet. She describes how the soldiers came and took her family away again and again and again on the street, a sort of lonely vigil of despair. Those are the kind of things you come across. Someone who can't explain what went on. A 3-year-old girl who's got an injury to her foot and shrapnel wounds in her legs. Someone will have to tell her that her mother was killed on the night she got those injuries.
The United Nations says there were 108 killed in that massacre, but I wonder how many wounded you found.
There are scores and scores of people, as you would expect. What you do see an awful lot, though, is people with shrapnel injuries. Don't forget, before the massacre, there was a sustained barrage, a bombardment of shells falling upon Houla before the killing squads moved in, if you like, to the southern part of the town.
Finally, there are about 300 UN observers in the country now. Are they having any effect on the ground?
Every time we moved out of the UN base in Homs, with one exception, our patrols, clearly UN white vehicles marked with the UN symbol, every time they were fired on. The one time it didn't happen was when the patrol actually went into Houla itself. And that morning we were told by the United Nations there is huge international pressure to get into that town at last and help those people. So it's clear the UN can have a short-term peaceful effect. But by the time we'd left town, left Houla, the shelling had started again.
Alex Thomson with Britain's Channel 4 News reporting from Damascus. Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.